Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we take a closer look at one of the most urgent debates in South African politics right now, the uproar over Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana and the deeper leadership crisis inside President Cyril Ramaphosa's administration. At the surface, it might look like this is all about a failed VAT increase and the finance minister who proposed it. But dig a little deeper, and the real problem, as political commentator Justice Malala explains, lies at the very top, with the president himself. The story begins with a controversial policy proposal. In an attempt to plug a massive hole in the national budget, Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana recently proposed raising South Africa's value-added tax, VAT, by 0.5%, from 15% to 15.5%. In policy circles, this may have seemed like a modest change, but it set off a firestorm across the political spectrum. The proposed VAT increase sparked fury from trade unions, opposition parties like the EFF and DA, and even from within the ANC's own alliance partners. The main complaint? That a VAT hike would hurt the poor the most in an already fragile economy burdened by rising food prices, unemployment, and shrinking growth. The backlash was so intense that within days, the finance minister was forced into a humiliating reversal. The VAT would not be increased after all. But by then, the damage was done, to both Godongwana's credibility and to perceptions of government stability. What followed was a deafening crescendo of criticism, with many political voices and media outlets calling for Godongwana's resignation. The public narrative shifted from opposition to the VAT hike itself to questioning whether the finance minister was fit to continue in his post. But here's where Justice Malala's analysis offers a compelling twist. Firing Godongwana might make for a convenient scapegoat, but it won't fix the core issue. According to Malala, the real culprit in this saga is President Cyril Ramaphosa, whose leadership style has become synonymous with delay, indecision, and a dangerous passivity in the face of mounting crises. Ministers, Malala points out, can come and go, but the same slow-moving, reactive style of governance under Ramaphosa continues to haunt the country's progress. This is not a new critique of the president, but it's one that's gaining renewed traction as crisis after crisis seems to catch the presidency flat-footed. Whether it's Eskom and the energy crisis, police reform, crime, or economic growth, Ramaphosa is often seen responding only when public pressure forces his hand. He is really ahead of the curve, and that has real consequences. The VAT drama is only the latest example of how a lack of strategic leadership at the top can turn even a routine budget decision into a national embarrassment. More worrying is what this saga reveals about the state of South Africa's coalition politics. Since 2024's general elections, the ANC has had to share power in various ways to keep its grip on government. In some municipalities, it governs in coalition with the EFF or smaller regional parties. At the national level, it depends on informal cooperation to push through key decisions. The VAT hike exposed how fragile and unstable these relationships really are. When Godongwana made his proposal, there clearly had been no meaningful consultation with partners. The result? Political chaos. And in that chaos, South Africans are once again left with a government that appears incoherent and divided. The reversal of the VAT decision leaves a 75 billion hole in the national budget, a gap that will now have to be closed through spending cuts, borrowing, or other unpopular revenue measures. The finance minister says he will return to Parliament on May 21 to deliver a revised budget. But with the political winds shifting unpredictably and no clear direction from the top, few expect any bold or transformative policy to emerge. President Ramaphosa, meanwhile, has tried to present a united front. He stood by Godongwana, saying that mistakes in the budget process are part of government learning. But to many critics, that statement rings hollow. After nearly 7 years in office, Ramaphosa is still talking about learning instead of delivering. His style of governance, cautious, consensus-driven, and often too slow, may have been welcomed in the wake of Jacob Zuma's chaos. But today, it's increasingly seen as ineffective and disconnected from the urgency of South Africa's challenges. Justice Malala is right to warn that focusing solely on individual ministers like Godongwana misses the point. South Africa's leadership crisis is systemic. Swapping out one cabinet minister for another will not change the fact that there is no clear economic vision, no political urgency, and no sense of national direction from the presidency. Until that changes, we can expect more U-turns, more budget gaps, and more public frustration. But the stakes go even deeper. This leadership vacuum feeds directly into the growing cynicism and disillusionment among ordinary South Africans. Voter turnout is declining. Public trust in institutions is collapsing. And the longer this continues, the more space is created for populist forces to step in and offer simplistic and often dangerous solutions. We've seen this trend all over the world, and South Africa is not immune. So, where does that leave us? The VAT debacle is a symptom of something much bigger, a presidency that lacks vision, urgency, and accountability. Godongwana may survive or he may be replaced. But until the top office starts leading with clarity and courage, South Africa will remain stuck in this frustrating loop of crisis, outrage, retreat, and repeat. Let us know what you think in the comments. Is Ramaphosa's leadership the real problem? Should Godongwana resign, or is he being used as a political scapegoat? And what kind of leadership does South Africa need right now to break the cycle? If you found this video informative, please hit the like button, subscribe for more weekly political commentary, and share this video with others who want to understand what's really going on in our government. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you next time.